Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission for Monday, July 20th, 2020. This meeting is a remote Zoom meeting, and it is being recorded and available on the cable access. First item on the agenda is 7 p.m. Notice of intent, public hearing continued. They have requested a continuance, so I would just entertain a motion to continue to the August 10th. At 7 p.m.
How big is the August 10th agenda looking?
It's big.
We have four. We have Woodland, Lot 1 U Street, Lot 2 U Street, where we're doing a site walk this Saturday on, and then 34 Conservation Drive.
Okay.
I don't think, we're not sure if the Woodland is going to be ready by then, right? That one might be short. We're hoping it's not, but
right.
I don't know if they're going to be able to.
I had a conversation with them. They seemed a little confused on what they want to do.
Yeah, that's why it's better just to not do anything, and as long as the board is okay with continuing them.
Yeah. Why do you ask, Art?
Well, I know we got 2 in August, and I just thought maybe it made sense to equal it out instead of one real huge one and then one real small one. That's all.
For the 24th.
Yeah.
I think if they're ready for August 10th, we should see them August 10th.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'd make a motion to continue them to the August 10th meeting at 7 p.m.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded by Art. Roll call vote. Actually, before we vote, if we could do a roll call attendance. Katie Grace, you're on mute.
Aye.
Mike Greco.
Aye.
Art.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
And so we're only missing Mark still, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then motion's been made and seconded, and then let's roll call vote on the continuance for 0 Wallum Lake.
Art Montmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is 45 Oak. BWC WHITIN Reservoir, BLUEWAVE Solar. So this is an update, Steve, or do you want Jeff to go?
I think we were waiting for, we can have Jeff go see how he made out with the planning board. That's what the commission was kind of waiting for.
Okay, sure. Jeff, do you want name and address and update us?
Sure. Jeff Murphy with Beals and Thomas on behalf of the applicant, BWC WHITIN Reservoir LLC. Just to update the commission, last Wednesday, July 15th, the planning board voted to approve the project. There was no further discussion of the stormwater. Bill was fine with everything. You know, all of Peare Corp's peer review comments were satisfied, and everything was basically squared away with respect to stormwater. So that's pretty much where we're at.
Okay. Steve, did you have anything else?
I didn't.
Okay. Any special conditions besides our special conditions?
Well, yeah, the special conditions and the well, we'll highlight the construction sequence plan.
Yeah. So the construction sequence would be the important part.
And then if I know, Jeff, if you have a list of all the documents with the approved dates on them, you know, the last plan date,
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of emails going back and forth over the last 4 months, a lot of revisions.
Yep.
So maybe, I don't know if you can probably have it a little easier than going through 4 months of emails. The final plan date from planning board and the commission, because it's going to be the same plan, correct?
It's going to be the same plan. That's correct.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah, the date on those plans is June 24th.
Right. And then we have we get the peer review documents, and we have any other documents from any other review, stormwater review, and we have, you know, Equitex ANRED report. All those will be listed on the order of conditions.
Sure.
I'll go through them and maybe I'll just correspond with you if they look correct.
Yeah, exactly. I can confirm that it's all the latest and greatest.
Yeah, the dates are, yeah, and specifically the dates to make sure the plan date is correct and it corresponds with the order of conditions.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks.
One moment, I just, Mark's having a little trouble getting on the Zoom. So let me just pause you for 1 second. I'm actually going to, this is still a public hearing, so I'm gonna, while we wait for Mark, Steve, I sent him our agenda, so he should be able to go from that link, unless he's clicking on the bottom link, which may be the case. Anyone else in the audience have, well, board members, any questions? Okay. And anyone from the audience have any questions or comments or concerns?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, that's all that matters.
Hello? Are you interrupting the hearing?
I am.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get in, and I tried to get in last time, and thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate that.
Okay, could you please mute your phone if you're not speaking? So this is for 45 Oak Street. Shirley, nothing further? Okay. Anyone else? Matthew, did you want to say anything? Charla? Anybody? Okay, I'm not. Matt?
All set here, thank you.
Okay.
So if you're waiting, is Mark trying to get on still?
He is.
I mean, we can, if you want, we can just table it and go to one. I think is Andy, is that you that's here? You're muted. I don't know if you want to wait and go to another one of the discussion items while we wait for Mark.
Sure. Is it going to be fast?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Steve, lead the way.
All right. So, Andy, you want to just kind of give an update of Sleepy Hollow and what you're in front?
Yeah, so Sleepy Hollow Watermain is the discussion. We would like to directional bore under the stream.
Well, let's give a little update to the members where we are. So the Sleepy Hollow is a subdivision that's across from Bosma's golf course, almost off of the entrance is off of East Main Street on your way to Uxbridge. And that's the entrance to the subdivision. And if you go up to the subdivision, it's like a gravel pit. It's paved now. They actually have the water line that goes up that subdivision, and then it cuts down the embankment, crosses a stream, and comes out by the high school on Davis Street. And then it goes back down and creates a big loop. And then there's a stream under Davis Street that under Davis Street. There's a stream there that the commission gave approval for them to install the water line underneath. Andy and I went out a couple weeks ago and it hasn't dried up, so I wouldn't let him do any work in that stream yet. So I think he has an alternative that he wants to propose to the commission instead of blocking off the stream. I think he's got something else that he wants to discuss.
Yep, okay. Thanks, Steve. So we have the water line, I don't know, Steve, probably 80 feet from the stream from Davis Street, and it's up maybe 150 feet up in the subdivision, so we have to connect the dots. And to Steve's point, the stream still has a flow, so what we would like to do is a process called directional boring, which is simply the directional boring contractor pushes a pipe underneath the stream from ground level, and when he pops up on the other side, he attaches the water pipe to that and pulls it back through. So we go underneath the stream at a depth of 5 to 6 feet, and we would never have to divert the flow or pump or bypass the flow. Bob, well, the water department is on board with this. We spoke, We spoke to them about this. It's a one-day process. Steve, we're currently waiting for S&M Farms to install the erosion control in that area, most likely this week. Then we'd give you a call and then schedule the contractor. He thought if we're all on the same page, he could get this done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We would still probably have to do possibly some minor pumping depending on the groundwater when we attach the directional boring pipe to the ductile iron water main. It's probably, I think we're going to directional bore. We would directional bore 40 feet of pipe. So we'd be well away from the stream when we attach either end. So it's a simple process. He'll be in and out of there in a day.
So I think Andy just wanted to come in, and I don't know if he's looking for approval tonight, or I think, you know, he's kind of gets the feel of the commission before he moves ahead with any probably engineered and detailed drawings and plans and scope on what he's doing. Maybe have a little bit more drawn up.
Somehow, are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I lost the screen.
Yeah, so Andy, it's just, I know we just briefly talked about this and you mentioned in an email. I think you just kind of wanted to get update the commission on why you're not doing the water line and where you stand at this point. And if there, I think before you spend, you're gonna have to have, you know, draw up some procedures and some protocols on how you're doing this work, or?
It doesn't change much from the protocols that were previously in place. Recently, looking at the plan, we have to put a couple areas to receive, if we do any pumping to receive the discharge, we would still place those. Other than that, it's really a simple process. We've done this with this contractor on probably half a dozen occasions over the years. He's very good at it. So what I would be hoping to do would, and we can write up some specific procedures step by step. There's not too much to it, but I was hoping to get direction.
The main point is you're not disturbing the bank or the stream.
Correct. So I was hoping to get direction from the board, possibly an okay, so we could schedule the work, and then we'd have you inspect, Steve, obviously the erosion after it's installed and prior to the work, and we could notify the board probably 48, 72 hours prior to the work, if that would help. I've done something.
What do you think, Steve? Steve, you're all set with that?
Yeah, so that's pretty much why Andy wanted to come in front of the commission.
A consensus?
Is this the 8-inch pipe?
It's an 8-inch. It's an 8-inch.
Directional, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want a formal vote, Steve, or you want a consensus?
I think a formal vote would probably, I don't know if if it's something where you'd want him to come in with more information, if it's a minor plan change, or if it's something that's really in the scope of the crossing itself. It's just, I think he's doing less disturbance.
I would agree that it's decreasing the disturbance that's already been issued for the order. So I'll entertain a motion to substitute the previous plan of redirecting water flow for this directional boring for the 8-inch water main.
So, sorry, I just want to, do we have, the original plan for this went through the board quite some time ago before my time and was approved, and then this is essentially, we're saying it's decreasing, and I'm trusting you and Steve that this is decreasing the impact, and therefore it could be a minor modification?
Well,
okay?
It could, but yeah, I think, right now it's just Andy's, he came in front of the, he asked me what I thought, if we can come in front of the board and get their opinion on this. I mean, if you want to be technical, right now, while we have is just this discussion on it, there's nothing in writing and we can amend, to the.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want the consensus from the board, and the consensus from the board is it sounds like it could be a minor plan change, and we'd want to see it, right?
Yes, so the original plan that's in the active order of conditions. Andy, could you just state the method that you would dig through the stream to install the water line? What the previously approved method was?
So the previous approved method, well, the previous approved method was the stream would be absolutely dry.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately that's not what happened. I get it.
Yeah, so with that being said, if we were to proceed with at a minor flow period, we would sandbag upstream, put a pump in there and bypass it around our work, then dig through the existing crossing, install the pipe, and then reconstruct that crossing. Then dismantle the pumps and off we go. So this method, we actually, from a distance of probably 25 feet away from the stream, we actually have a machine that pushes the pipe beneath the stream.
Yeah.
If I think everybody understands that. So there's no pumping, no bypassing, no excavating through the stream channel.
I totally appreciate that, and that's great. But I guess logistics, and I'm being technical at this point. We're just going to, based on the description, vote on this verbally without looking at a plan change.
Well, there is no. Maybe I'm not sure I understand. There is no plan change per se. There's still an 8-inch pipe underneath the stream. So the plan
the same. Okay.
The same.
The method is changing.
Yeah, the means have changed to install that pipe.
Okay.
That's all that's happened.
And there wasn't like a construction sequence attached to the plan that had either of those two. Okay.
Well, I don't remember a construction sequence. I think
dry
the problem is that if it's dry, if we went out there tomorrow and it was dry, we couldn't probably mobilize fast enough to get it done, and the thunder showers coming in a few days.
Yeah.
So it's
I get it.
That's really it. It's just the owner who we're working for obviously would like to get it done, and I think the town wouldn't get us behind us. So we proposed this method where we don't have to interrupt flow, if there is any. And that's really all we've done.
Okay, I'd like to welcome Mark to the meeting. You made it.
Made it.
So we were waiting for you for the vote for 45 Oak. So we're talking about the discussion item for the directional boring number 2. And the active order has the work being done when the stream bed's dry. That hasn't been the case. So they're proposing to go underneath the stream instead of through it, digging through it and dewatering and redirecting flows. And the water department is on board with the method. And Steve's looking for a consensus that this is an acceptable method and a better alternative than digging the entire stream bed.
I'm familiar with directional bores, and yes, it's a better method than to do a direct burial. So I would be in favor of that.
Okay, all right. Steve, anything else? You are on mute, so I just want to check with you.
No, I don't. I just I don't know if I guess if if we need anything in writing. I'm not familiar as Mark is with the directional boring. I'm sure it's a lot less impact. But if he's staying within the scope of the work, it sounds like. So I mean,
But I think
It's fine with
ultimately it's a utility, and if the water department is approving this, I think that we should go along with it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and it's for public health, so I'll entertain a vote for a roll call vote just as a consensus.
Can I ask a question first?
Are authorizing it.
Yep.
What?
Could I ask a question first?
Sure.
Oh, okay. I'm fine with the idea. It sounds great, but it's just curious to me that it's hot as hell outside. We're in the middle of a drought, and this stream is still not dry.
Well, I think I couldn't, I think it's a function of the thunderstorms and the drainage basin of that area, and it has been dry, you know, it's just, I think Mark, I mean, when we went out the other day, it was, I guess, 20 gallons per minute, which isn't a lot, but it's not totally dry. And then after Jimmy Pine and I went out after a heavy thunderstorm, and, you know, it was considerably more than last time I was out there. So will it be dry in tomorrow? I don't know. We could go out and look. But we just prefer not to take the chances to make sure it's perfectly dry, get set up, and then it rains, and then it's got to flow. So we're just trying to get it done without any impact.
Okay, just curious. Yeah, I like the idea of the directional drilling anyway. So, but I was just curious. But okay.
I don't think we're technically in a drought right now, Mike.
I don't know. It's awfully dry out there.
It's fine.
That's subjective. We are not technically experiencing a drought.
If you're not sitting in a lake or something like that, but okay.
Well, the other thing too is
not.
Probably the driest time of the year is, Steve, what, September?
Yeah.
August, September. If we can get this done before that, this has happened, what, the last 2 years maybe, where we've waited and then there's been a rainy fall and we've just missed it. So that's really what's happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I think in June they did classify us in one of the stages. I think there's 5 stages of drought, and we moved up into like the 2nd or 3rd stage. So, because I know the golf courses that I work on had to take into effect the drought and cut back on their watering practices.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
Okay, so are we ready to consensus vote on the substitution for the method of install?
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain something. Anything?
Are you looking for a motion?
I would do just a consensus of the board with a roll call vote. Is that good, Steve?
I think a vote would be good.
Okay. Motion to substitute the method previously approved with less impactful directional boring.
I'll make a motion that we approve directional boring for the Sleepy Hollow project. That will be with an 8-inch pipe and 5 to 6 feet under the existing stream.
Motion been made.
I'll second that.
Second by Mike. Roll call vote, please.
Art Montmany, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Thank you. While we're there, do you want to, there's a request for an extension on their order. Steve, do you want to just overview the dates?
Yeah, I don't have that. I thought
So
I didn't realize it was going to be on, I didn't realize that was going to be on this meeting, but do you know, is that a 3-year permit, Andy?
I'd be lying if I said it was, if I knew what it was.
I think it's a 3-year permit, but we'd, why don't we just wait till the next meeting so the board can vote for 1 or 3 years?
Okay. All right.
You know, he's got the pace, as long as he's got the request in, for sake of argument, if it happened to expire next week, you're okay because you put your request in before it expired and they can do it preactively.
Okay.
As long as the request went in before the expiration.
That's fair.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Andy.
Steve, I'll be in touch when we get the erosion in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, back to 45 Oak Street. So Mark, we've just received comment from Jeff that there were no outstanding items. The planning board has signed off on the site plan review. Did I miss anything, Steve? And the plan dates are going to be submitted to Steve so that he can correctly reference the order.
Correct.
That's about it. Mark, did you have any other items, any other questions for this hearing?
No, I apologize for being late to the meeting.
That's okay. We waited for you. All right, board, what's your pleasure? The 45 Oak Street.
Well, this one's got a really long list of conditions, right?
There will be our standard conditions with some special conditions with the construction sequence and
right. So you can close the hearing and then you can wait. We can type up the conditions and send them to everybody, and then vote on them, everything at the or sign them at the 10th. Or you can vote with conditions, and you can sign them. Or what's that?
Can everybody hear, Steve? Breaking up on my end.
Can now.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you're worried about the conditions, like the list of special conditions and how they're going to come out to vote on them, we can certainly close the public hearing and approve it with conditions, and then you officially approve. You can approve the conditions. I can do a draft and send them to everybody so they can review the the special conditions if you want the list of things that what the board wants on them.
What are you talking about? Special conditions.
Well, I think Art was just saying has a list of conditions, like it has with the construction sequence and just the all the documents and the review. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand the concern that we had a lot of conditions we wanted on this project that we may or may not remember to say out loud during the meeting while we're trying to approve this. So we might as well close the public hearing, say that we approve the order of conditions, but the final order of conditions will be the one we review and sign, because we want to make sure that everything we had, and I don't think we want to dedicate this time in the meeting to go through, past minutes or whatever else each one of us had going into this order of conditions, because there were some, specific things that each of us were looking for in this order of conditions.
Right. That's why I wasn't comfortable making a motion, because I'm sure I would have left something out by mistake,
Me too. I agree.
Okay, that's fair. So we would close the hearing and issue the order, and then it would be approved before it's released, the special conditions. I thought we captured a lot of those on the plan set.
Hopefully we did.
Usual special conditions.
I think we did.
Okay.
And that's fair.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what they're building to. So
yeah,
I hope they're actually on the plan, not just the order.
Right. No, I think most of them were. No.
Okay, so Tracy, if you're looking for a motion, then I would move that we close the public hearing.
Okay, motion's been made.
Seconded.
Roll call vote.
Art Montminy, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Munjam,
Aye. Entertain a motion.
Okay, so then we'll make
with what we were saying.
Yeah, a motion to issue the order of conditions that will be approved in its final form at the next meeting on August 10th.
No, I don't think we want to wait for the next meeting. I think that we can say, yes, we're approving it with the order of, with the special order of conditions.
We're going to circulate it through
the board. We get it before then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Art?
Yeah, I think that's, if we get it, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Then I would second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded by Katie Grace. And roll call vote, please.
Art Montminy, aye.
KG Dudley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungum, aye.
Okay, you're all set. Thank you, Jeff. And all.
Thank you very much.
So Steve, you got that?
So I'll type something up and send it off before the end of before next week.
Thank you.
So everyone to review. And then, you know, if I'm missing anything, you have till the 10th. You have 3 weeks after the public hearing to vote on this order. So it turns out to be, you know, the 10th is 3 weeks. So as long as you do it by the 10th, you're fine to sign off on. You know,
Saying 21 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Next item on the agenda is public hearing continued, 93 Davis Street. Can I hand this over to you, Katie Grace?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to know when we're done? Okay. I can.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're still on mute.
Did you read my lips?
Yes.
You can just yell a little louder. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, 93 Davis Street.
Hi, my name is Paul Hutnack. I'm here representing the project tonight with Guaranteed Builders. And I'm sure the board or the commission is familiar with the project. Last time we were here, we were had a discussion, and then we were essentially deferring until after the planning board meeting to see what occurred at that. And also, I guess, with receiving the final or a follow-up comment letter from Leonard Engineering, who is the outside consultant or peer review for the project as well. So we did have our public hearing with the planning board, and we did not close the public hearing with them. However, what I would say in terms of the Conservation Commission, and I believe that Leonard Engineering forwarded their latest comment letter. I'm not sure that you guys got a chance to see it.
You did, I have it.
Okay. Yeah, we got it late today.
Oh, okay. It's been around. It's dated July 13th. It's been around for a little bit, but I understand you just got it today. So
we did.
But essentially, there are there's no comments, outstanding issues with the stormwater system, essentially, and there's no issues or comments within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission on that letter, the things that were discussed at that meeting. And so there's no, after that letter, there's no anticipated changes to the stormwater system. And essentially, the outstanding items, if you will, are things such as adding some boundary markers to the plans that the planning board wanted, some sign labels and legend. And then they also were asking for a traffic analysis and some satellite parking, like, sort of like off-site satellite parking. So those were some of the major discussion points of the meeting. So I guess at this point, I would ask what the commission is comfortable with, but I would say that the applicant is comfortable, if the commission is, with closing the hearing. And like I say, in terms of the things that we've discussed, I feel like those are not outstanding issues in terms of the peer reviewer and stormwater specifically, which I think the commission was certainly concerned with, rightly so. But that's sort of where we're at right now.
Understood.
Madam Chair, is this regarding 93 Davis Street?
We are at 95 Davis Street. Right now, we're still going through the board's comments, but I will open it to the public.
All right, because I was very, very disappointed that you didn't open up the water line that we talked about for the directional drilling on Northeast Main Street. And I had a lot of comments on that, ma'am.
That was not a public hearing. I'm sorry.
All right. If it's not a public hearing, I don't know why you're even talking about it. I just had some comments, and I was a little frustrated that I couldn't at least make one or two comments. And that's not really the professional way to run a meeting. You should open it up to people
we were
in the
not
audience.
having a public hearing. It was a request for the opinion of the board. The opinion of the board was provided, and that item was closed, and we are now on to 93 Davis Street.
And I got some comments on that one too, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And if I have an opportunity, I'd like to make my comments, but I'll wait for the Madam Chair to tell me when I can make a comment, or the chairman, whoever it is.
Thank you. Okay, board, do we have any comments on 93 Davis Street? Did everyone get a chance to look at the comment and response letter that we got today?
I just reviewed it quickly. I didn't get it till like 6:25 or something tonight. But I think we pretty much talked this one to death. So my main concern was not to act before the planning board did their thing when we talked last week.
When is the planning board on again?
Oh crap! I don't have my calendar here.
Paul, you know,
August. It was a month. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. Let me see my notes.
They're usually on Wednesdays, I think.
August 13th.
13th, yep.
And
okay.
so our two meetings are August 10th and August 24th.
Our two meetings are, yes.
Yeah. So we have one right after the 13th.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the cadence we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, again, I'm just bringing it up. The applicant, feels comfortable if the commission does with closing the hearing, because again, with the stormwater essentially being addressed, the stormwater system and things that are within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, I feel that the things that the planning board are looking for shouldn't change things that you were looking for.
Good evening. Am I allowed to address?
Pardon?
Good evening. It's Teresa Madison from 93 Davis, the applicant. Am I allowed to address now, or do I have to wait too?
You can speak now, Teresa.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Paul, that's up to the chair. It's not up to you.
Well, she's part of the presenting team, so I think that she could.
Everything's.
I don't. Right. I can't acknowledge her to speak, but I was more just saying that she's part of this team.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Teresa, for introducing yourself.
Okay. Are we clear? All right. So I'm very comfortable with what happened at the planning board. We have the Leonard comments here. And when it comes to the stormwater drainage, it clearly states that the LEI is in agreement with the stormwater. Everything that came up in that hearing had nothing to do with stormwater, and it had nothing to do with the position of the building. What they were concentrating on mostly, the most important thing that they're concentrating on, is a car analysis, because they're worried about opening day. Other than that, there was a couple other points that Paul could probably touch on, which was dumpster and deliveries. But as far as stormwater and position of building, they are going by Leonard, who was the outside peer review, and they were no outstanding comments, and they they didn't address anything else. What they're concentrating on is the car analysis. I'm completely comfortable that there isn't going to be any changes. So I'm asking, I understand there's risk. Everything has risk. There's nothing 100%, but I feel very comfortable with the last hearing, especially because they're moving forward to closing it when we meet again on those last couple of issues that Paul discussed, that I asked that we discuss, that we close this one and move forward with this one too.
Understood. I have reviewed the comment responses, and I concur that there are that everything was concurred to, and that the 2 items that were minor technicalities. My only concern was question and answer 14, concern voiced about oil grease separator. You responded that the cold water fishery concern was addressed to the Conservation Commission in response from LEI. What did you have? So I understand that we addressed this in the Conservation Commission. I concur that we addressed this in the Conservation Commission multiple times that we had this discussion, but I don't know, and please someone correct me if we came to a conclusion on the cold water fisheries issue that we were sufficiently, that the stormwater management plan was to the specification for cold water fisheries area. Were we absolutely confident about that? And I asked that to the rest of the board and Steve.
So it's my recollection that through our conversations and through with Steve
Paul,
as well. Excuse me?
This is Paul, could you announce yourself?
Paul Hutnack here, representative for the project.
Yep.
It's my recollection that we discussed this, and Steve had provided some information that showed that the area behind the site is actually not part of the cold water fishery. But on top of that, Leonard had provided, so you're kind of getting it from the third party, a letter stating that this was designed to meet the cold water fishery if it were to be one. And I can't find that right off the top here, but
if you find it, let me know, because I've got the Google Drive open too. So
it was in there. So if you recall, there were some comments that Steve had forwarded out to, and both myself and Leonard answered them, and it was.
I think my comment was from the Division of Fish and Wildlife on the areas that they studied.
Okay.
That I don't think they went up that far.
Right.
I don't think I stated that there was ever a determination. It was just that when the study that they did at the time of Wellman Brook, and when they went up to the tributary to Wellman, I don't think they, based on the map and the email I sent, it might be on the Google Drive, that they didn't cross Davis Street.
Okay.
But it was discussed that, I think, Paul, you made the reference that even if it was a cold water fishery, that it's designed to meet those standards.
Well, that was right in LEI's response to you as well.
Which question and answer?
I'm trying to find it. I believe it was there. So it was prior to our first meeting. Well, the first meeting I was involved with. Trying to find the date right now.
I remember it as Steve described it. I remember from past projects that the cold water fisheries did not extend beyond Davis Street, from what I remember as well. So the pond area that's to the north of the site and the stream behind the site, I don't think those are cold water fisheries.
Okay.
But if it's being designed to that level, of design, then I'm happy for that.
So, yeah, on their, on the July 13th letter, even the, I think the one that you just got, they, on number 14, they reiterated that. LEI's comment was the proposed stormwater management system meets the standards for sites discharging to cold water fishery tributaries. And then they say to refer to their comment 3 on page 2 regarding review of lighting. So that's a separate issue, but they actually, in this latest letter, they actually reiterated that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we had put this issue to bed last time. I think Mark summed it up pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Okay.
Well, I think it's important to know that that they're proposing that there is no discharge from this site because all the water is going into the infiltration basin, and it's not going to leave the infiltration basin until a 100-year storm, and even then it's only a minor amount of water coming out.
Right.
Anything else from the board? All right, this is a public hearing and I'm going to open it to the public for comment.
Jeremy Flansburgh, 63 Monroe Street.
Thank
I live directly across from the property. I also own 73 Davis. And I have a question. Has a delineation been done, because I have not seen anybody over there, for a peer review? I mean, flags actually in the ground for a peer review. That's question number 1.
Okay, so the answer to question number 1 is yes.
No.
What?
No, we haven't had a peer review of the wetland delineation.
Of the wetland flag. Okay.
No, the commission performed a site walk individually to review the property, and I think
which is not a peer review. You're correct.
Which is correct.
Okay. The stormwater management was peer reviewed.
Stormwater management.
Thank you, Steve. All right, Jerry.
I think that would be key. My second question, has the board considered CMR 15.214 or 15.215 that has to do with a nitrogen sensitive area? Because the invert that goes out, that's obviously in a 100-year storm is going to go into this cold water fishery. Has anybody taken that into consideration?
What were those numbers?
It was CMR 15.214 and CMR 15.215.
Are you referring to Title 5? I think
nitrogen sensitive areas.
What regulations are those for? What?
Title 5.
Title 5.
I don't believe it's in a nitrogen sensitive area.
Okay. Has anybody gone out there and seen the spotted turtles and the salamanders that are floating around this nice little pond?
I've seen turtles.
Spotted. They have to be spotted.
Well, is spotted an endangered or threatened species in Massachusetts?
I think it might be.
It is.
Right. And I believe
I have not seen any spotted turtles. I've seen painted turtles.
Correct.
Remember, the law says must be restricted to prohibit man-made structures of nitrogen, including but not limited to sewage discharge, nitrogen-based fertilizer, and raising of livestock.
But this is not a habitat.
I get it, but and it says must be to prohibit artificially rendered impervious, i.e. streets, pavement, paved parking lots, buildings, structures. And
Paul,
I'm just saying, I'm quoting the law right now.
Well, those are Title V. Is this project in front of Board of Health at all, Paul?
No, but it will receive approval from them prior to construction. The septic system is not in the buffer zone as of right now. So
now, if you took the applicant says it's 2.09 acres. If you deduct all the wetlands, and if I can't do it, I don't know how they're going to do it up at 93 Davis Street. They're going to be putting in a well, a structure, a septic, and a retainage system for the sand and grease interceptor that collects all the water from the pervious or the impervious system. I don't know how they're going to do it without a retention pond and then dump it into a cold water fishery that has spotted turtles and salamanders. And keep in mind, keep in mind, trees makes the water cold. If you don't have trees, you lose the cold water fishery. Just remember that.
We know that, Jeremy. We're outside of the realm of the cold water fishery that ends before the crossing of the street. 2, cold water fisheries are not the habitat of spotted turtles. Spotted turtles live in habitats with tussocks of grass and sandy soils. 3, the area is not in an area under a ½ acre, as I saw in your email. When you deduct the wetlands area from the total land area, there is still room for the parking lot, the building, the septic, the well, and the retention area per the plan. And that's why I asked you to review the plan.
Do you want me to show you pictures of spotted turtles? Do you want to really see them? I'll show them to you. I'll gladly go out there. It's right across the street. And the other thing is remember, everybody does conservation. I know this doesn't apply to maybe a conservation thing, but the whole cross-country team, the track team, runs right by this pot shop. This ain't, and you're gonna call it product. It ain't the right thing.
That's outside the jurisdiction of this board.
Where you gonna put snow when we get 10 feet of snow? Where are you gonna put this, and how is this gonna affect the catch basins, the nitrogen levels, the salt in the sand that's gonna be in the parking lot? I'd like to see how that's going to be handled.
Right, and that's outside the jurisdiction of this board.
Well, I would think it would be a consideration.
Not the cross
country.
It's
snow melts. Snow melts and makes water. And now you're going to be cutting trees right next to a cold water fishery. Now you're going to make it a warm water fishery. You're going to kill the spotted turtles. You're going to kill the salamanders, and all your junk's going to be going right down the stream.
It's not within that range of the cold water fishery. We've addressed these comments.
I was there during when the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife was there, and they shocked the stream. All right, there was brook trout all the way up to well beyond what you guys discussed and blocked me out of in the last meeting. Well beyond that, there was catfish, shiners, northern shiners, brook trout. There was all sorts of fish in that stream. And the reason why I unfortunately couldn't be listened to in the last meeting, there is a lot of fish in there. And I don't know why you guys aren't listening to this. You get spotted turtles, salamanders, native brook trout that swim upstream from the Mumford. And just because they've stopped at Davis Street doesn't mean that they don't keep swimming. That was because they stopped at Davis Street because of that was the extent of the work that was being done at, I believe it was 486 Northeast Main Street.
That's not why. That's not how they do studies.
So
I'm telling you, I was there.
So I got 2 comments. So I got 2 concerns. Well, one is, for sake of, if the planning board is going to be reviewing this on the second meeting in August, and we would have time to hire Ecotech to go out and just do a cursory review. It shouldn't take them more than an hour to get something informal in writing and have it by our next meeting. That way it would protect the commission regarding the resource areas for any subsequent rebuttal by anybody that's wants to appeal the decision. And then second, Paul, I'm looking at the plan, and I'm a little taken back that so site plan review didn't ask for Board of Health approval.
That's the wrong plan.
Yeah, that's the old plan, but regardless, no, I mean, it's noted that it will be approved by the Board of Health prior to construction.
Yeah, but is it within the commission's jurisdiction? It looks like this old plan, is it in the same spot?
No.
Where's it going? Is it on the, where's the new, let me pull up the new plans.
Yeah, sheet C4, if you get the new plans, or I can share if you want.
Pat, can you make Paul a host?
Just a quick note, I want to, Teresa, sorry, that it was addressed about making sure that all the water would stay on our property with the grades and the curbage and everything. I'm sure Paul can speak better about it, that was addressed, and Leonard was happy with that.
Yeah, I saw that in the letter. Thank you, Teresa.
I also have a question as to what is the validity of the constant comments about the size of our property from a gentleman who has never seen the plans and refuses to see the plans. And he was also given registered letters when this project all started that he signed off on and refused to come to the hearings.
Understand, Teresa. Thank you.
Lady, come on now. I just called the cops on this meeting because I was blocked from the prior meeting. I'm not. I've tried a million times. I can't come into the building. I have tried and tried and tried, and I cannot be. Nobody will speak to me, and don't you give me that crap. I have done it.
Jeremy, I recognized you at the last meeting and you did not speak, and I apologize if you had technical difficulties.
I know I did. I could listen to the whole thing, but nobody wanted to hear me. I had a ton of questions, and we probably could have gotten this stuff done, but nobody wanted to hear me. I couldn't talk, and I am offended by that comment.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
And everybody doesn't understand. They're going to cut trees right on top of the cold water fishery. And because everybody thinks that because the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife didn't go up another 500 feet, that it's still not a cold water fishery. And you cut trees, the water goes warm, and now you just killed all the fish.
We understand the
science. And I thought that this was the purpose. I thought this was the purpose behind the Conservation Commission, is to conserve things like this that we have.
We do. We are addressing the concerns. We are all educated members of the conservation community, and we understand what we're talking about.
Well, she just told me I didn't know what the hell's going on, and I've lived here since 1973.
I understand.
And I take offense by that.
She was questioning
I used to skate on that pond when I was 10.
I understand that.
Jeremy, you said you were there when Fisheries and Wildlife was there doing the shock study. Do you have that information, or do you have the ability to get that to us so that we can review it?
Hang on, I have the I have the email, Mark. Let me bring it up.
I even got 8.5 by 11 photos of all the fish. We shocked the stream and got, I believe it was 98 fish out of that place. And yes, Steve is right. We went up to Davis Street, but we didn't cross over Davis Street.
So everyone see the email?
I just want to say that question number 13 addresses all the erosion.
Thank you.
I think that we've kind of moved, haven't we moved past, even if it is a cold water fishery, we've determined from an outside consultant that we meet the standards. So I'm not
Understand,
sure what
Paul.
we're discussing.
So as you can see,
But nobody understands. You cut the trees. Now you make a cold water fishery a warm water fishery.
Yes,
and then
we
all the fish
understand.
die.
Jeremy, can we please continue with the meeting so that we can talk about this?
I'm sorry, and one more thing is that even if it is a cold water fishery, we've met the standards in the plans and proposed question number 14.
Understood. Thank you, Teresa.
And also, we are keeping a 25-foot buffer off of that intermittent stream so that we're not any trees beyond that.
Well, then why do I got to stay 100 feet off of a swamp on my house?
That is
How do they get away with 25 feet, which is a stagnant swamp, and they get to go 100 feet from something that actually is going to kill somebody or kill
Jeremy,
a fish?
that's why we're all in this meeting. You have to come before Concom within your 100 feet. They're within 100 feet. That's why we're in this meeting having this discussion. If we could stay on topic, what did we want to say about the fisheries?
All right, let's stay on topic. The fisheries also have a lot to do with nitrogen.
We understand.
How are we dealing with the nitrogen? How are we dealing with the nitrogen based on the gallons per day? And I don't want to hear all this crap about a 100-year storm, because we get those almost every 2 years. How are we handling this, and where is it being discharged? It's going to be discharged into the stream. There's no way it's going to be discharged. And if it's discharged into the soil, then it's going to affect my well. How is this going to affect my well?
Jeremy, the nitrogen levels are not any different from any other project that has a stormwater review.
Well, he's talking Board of Health, so that's to get back to Paul. Paul, I don't if you can bring the Board of Health plan up, and why it hasn't even. I mean, how come you guys haven't even entertained of a design in front of the?
I can't share my screen, but I can tell you that we show on the plan set a septic system that is outside of the buffer zone. That's what we're showing right now. So I mean, we can't build it without getting approval from the Board of Health. That's a separate permit. So they're not going to let us do what we can't do.
No, but the activity. I don't have the plan. Let me see if I can find the plan. So you're saying, where is it then located? Because the 100 foot is it over to the left?
It's essentially in the front of the building. And basically.
Yes. To the front of the building, between the street and the building.
Steve, Pat just enabled Paul to be able to share.
Would you like me to do that?
Yeah.
Sorry, Katie.
And Steve, I know that there are 2 wells on the site. Which well are they using?
What?
And is that in direct conflict with the 100-foot buffer between the septic and that well?
Well, that's Board of Health.
Jeremy, that's a Board of Health issue.
So here, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So here is the proposed system, and here is the buffer zone right here. And I mean, regardless, right? So here's the system, and obviously we have pavement over here and things of that nature. So the system is shown right here outside of the buffer zone. The well is right here. It's an existing well, and the water line will run to the building. That's what we're proposing, and
that's not approved though, right? So any changes, so you're getting site plan approval without approval from the Board of Health to know if the plan doesn't change?
I think that, yeah, I mean, that's a separate permit.
Yeah, so if the Board of Health changes anything significantly, like the location or anything, you're gonna have to go back to the planning board?
I mean, I think that would be at first I don't think it would, but it would be in the scheme of this site, that's a very minor change. And that's how I would assume they would view it. I don't even recall us discussing it all that much, if at all.
All right, that's it's just unusual. So if it's outside our jurisdiction, so my recommendation is just the it would be between now and hopefully by August 24th meeting, that because planning board meets on before that if the board wanted just to go the extra step to protect themselves against any appeal on the wetland delineation, that we'd have it out when we can send it out to peer review and have them quickly look at it, even though it's pretty straightforward, and just get an independent third person to review it.
I would be in favor of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I think this is pretty late in the game to be talking about starting to do peer reviews when the commission has all seen the site and think that the line is good.
And don't forget, this is the same line that was delineated back in 2009 or 2008, the last time that the project was brought in front of conservation.
It's a TOA slope line, essentially. Is that correct?
And it goes to the bank. It's actually bank on an intermittent stream that runs behind this project.
You can call it intermittent all you want. It's a cold water fishery.
It is not, Jeremy.
In the last meeting we just had about that I couldn't speak in, it don't dry up.
Right. Sorry, Teresa, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that with everything that's been going on with the planning board and how they ended the meeting, we have nothing but minor comments. Everything else they are on board with. So that's why I'm asking if we could please move forward. I'm the one taking the risk here.
I don't think that this should be rifled down my throat, being the guy that lives right across the street, and you're going to wreck my property values. You have absolutely no fire hydrants up this road. I know it's something else, but I don't think that you should be doing this and then wrecking endangered species with a spotted turtle. You get salamanders, and now all of a sudden, nobody even knows what the water table. Do we even know what the water table is?
Yes. So Jeremy, honest to goodness, if you have pictures of a spotted turtle that are geolocated for that vicinity, please forward them to the board, send them to Steve. I would really be interested to see if there are spotted turtles in that environment.
Right, I know, but you don't even want to give me the opportunity to show you the pictures before you want to push this thing right through and rifle it down my throat, which is right across the street from me.
I would hardly call myself pushing this right through. I think you have been here with the meetings and these meetings with us for the past 4 or 5 months.
It's been 4 or 5
Unfortunately,
months.
you didn't hear me the last one. I couldn't get on. I was blocked.
I recognized you and you were unable to speak. I'm again sorry for your technical difficulties.
Right. No, because you're trying to squelch my opinion. And we would have gone through all this last meeting if you didn't squelch me.
It's been going on for several months now, and every meeting is the exact same questions, and every question has been addressed, and it's been addressed to the end. So I don't see any reason to keep beating a dead horse. It's the only way I can explain it.
I disagree. I don't think the nitrogen issue has been the nitrogen in a nitrogen sensitive area has been addressed. And I don't think we have a peer review.
No, Jeremy, that's the Board of Health. And then
if I could, as a side note, a very quick side note, looking at the MESA website, spotted turtle is listed under non-listed turtles, along with painted turtles and snapping turtles. So I don't know that they're actually listed anymore.
Paul, I can address that with you separately. I keep this.
Whether they're endangered or not, I don't know. They are there.
Okay.
But I want to see the nitrogen issues being issued. I want to know about where you're going to be putting your snow.
Again, that's outside this meeting.
Right, and go into 15.214 and 215 on the CMR for the nitrogen requirements, because this might
Understood.
be a nitrogen sensitive area.
Jeremy, do you have anything else that you haven't mentioned before?
Yes, the actual delineation and a peer review of that delineation.
We talked about the delineation. It's the same as
Have you done a peer review on that delineation?
we did not do a peer review of the delineation because we didn't believe there were any issues with the delineation.
Then I think we might just want to walk away from the table until you have that opportunity to do that.
We did a site walk.
It's a very well-defined bank going,
Yep.
I mean, there's a steep slope going down to the intermittent stream. It's very well-defined.
Yep. We're all set with the wetland delineation.
So from an engineering perspective, you don't have one engineer doing a peer review regarding the original engineer's review, and we haven't had that done yet?
We have.
I would think if I'm going to stop squawking, I want to make sure that we're going to be good.
I understand.
And I want to be sure if that delineation is not cutting down trees that are going to stop the shade from the cold water fishery. Excuse me?
We discussed the cold water fishery. We discussed the cold water fishery, and we've discussed
No.
the trees.
No. The delineation would mean a demarcation of what trees you're going to cut, what trees you're not going to cut. Are we going to make a cold water fishery into a warm water fishery? And I don't buy the argument that you didn't cross. Well, I don't know. You said repeatedly that I didn't go down and look at the plans because the plans are junk. You can't tell where the delineation is. I don't know. I don't know what trees you're cutting to actually go out and look and see what trees you're taking out that are going to make this cold water fishery a warm water fishery. I don't know. You don't even know about the turtles. You don't know about the salamanders. And all of a sudden you want to sell product and you make it sound like it's
Jeremy, you're getting off topic again, and we've discussed these issues at length.
Katie?
I don't think we've discussed the issues at length because I didn't have an opportunity to talk at last month's meeting.
But you've talked at this month's meeting for everything that I think you were missing.
Correct? I have not talked with me and Steve Zisk have not talked on the telephone at all. I've sent him emails. He has not responded. I don't know if he's even got my emails. This ain't fair. All right? I'm just saying it ain't fair.
Jeremy, do you know that probably 75 to 80% of the site is already cleared? That we're really not clearing very much more at the back of the site to be able to allow for this development to occur.
Now, then, and if you want me to buy that argument, you've got a well, a septic, an 80 by 120-foot building,
yes, Jeremy, and it all fits on the plan.
I don't think it fits. There's no way. Well, then tell me when you do your peer review, show me that what's the acreage left? All right, I'll ask the kind lady. After the 2.09 acres, how much is left after you minus out all the wetlands that you can't build on? What's the acreage then?
It's not. That's not a point. That's not the point.
Yes, it is. I mean, you can't fit it. If I can't do it on a half-acre lot on Davis Street, which exactly is the same thing that happened to me, and I lost a lot of money, how can 93 Davis Street do it?
I'm sorry about your previous projects, but this is a different project, and they have much more than half an acre.
Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You got to treat everybody the same. If I can't do it, then why can they?
I'm sorry about your
And I
past
lost a
experience,
lot of money.
but this is a different case. That is no bearing on our we treat everyone fairly regardless of who has lost money or not.
Doesn't matter. There's no town water.
Nope.
There's no town sewer.
It's not
None
the
of
land area, it's the configuration of the land, Jeremy, that determines what can fit. It's not the total
And
land area.
I had no wetlands. They've got a shitload of wetlands, and nobody can tell me how much wetlands is part of the 2.09 acres.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Nobody can tell me that one simple answer. How much acreage, and that would be determined based on if you figured it out, and a peer review would tell me there's 2.09 acres, but only 1 acre is buildable.
Is that not Leonard?
Buildable.
Yeah, Leonard already did that. It's not a concern.
Correct.
Is it on the plan?
Yes, it
Doesn't
is
have
on
to.
the
Town engineer told me that a peer review has not been done on this.
Leonard is the peer review.
You asked about a wetland peer review. The site plan peer review has been done.
I don't, but
okay.
All right. The town engineer has told me that a peer review has not been done because the wetlands have not been flagged. So I don't know what's going on.
The wetlands have been flagged. Wait, hold on, Jeremy. The wetlands have been flagged, and we went to them.
When?
I
Has it been
personally
submitted to
went last month.
Has it been submitted to the engineer?
Can we move to call vote? Can we move that this has been an argument over and over, that we've had a peer review out there? I'm asking.
Yeah, I understand. I can call that vote, and I will call that vote when I am ready.
Thank you very much.
I just need a little bit more security here to make sure that that things are going to be good and kosher. Remember, I got to go. Excuse my language, but I got. Remember, I'm down the hill a little, and I got a well. I got all this property that I'm saving up for my retirement, and now nobody's going to buy it because I got a what nobody wants to call a pot shop. You're calling it
That's
yes, it is.
Jurisdiction
You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Jeremy,
I don't like it.
That's outside the jurisdiction of our board, and we need to move forward.
But what's in your jurisdiction is the cold water fishery,
Absolutely.
the nitrogen issue,
that's
and nobody's addressing these things.
No. And we've talked
And,
about all
and,
the
and I got to
issues that
send you photos now of turtles that nobody's seen.
Well, yeah, actually.
They're swimming right around it. The last meeting that I couldn't talk in, before that meeting, nobody had even done a site visit. Nobody walked it.
Yes, you had.
Nobody even knew that there was a pond on the site for Jiminy Cricket.
Okay, Jeremy, we addressed all of those comments. I'm sorry if you remember differently. They've been recorded in our meeting minutes for each one of those meetings.
Thank
you. All right, let's go for a roll call. Who's been there for a site visit?
I have. Mark Mungine has. Art, did you go?
No.
And I know Steve has been. Mike Greco, did you go?
No.
Eric, did you go?
I did not.
Okay, so it's me and Mark Mungine and Steve Zist.
Is that fair?
Yes.
You guys might have gone all out there and seen the turtles. Lift up a rock, you're going to find 5 salamanders. And remember, it's all you guys' job, or gals and guys, to make sure that this stuff gets protected.
I understand.
And nobody seems to give a crap about it.
And I went to the speech. I'm offended that you're asking if I give a crap about it. Jeremy, please stop. All right.
Well, then why isn't your board going to the site visits? I'm offended that you didn't want to do a site visit on something like this. You got me 2 people out of the whole board. And what I'm trying to say is that this is going to affect me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And you guys, and you got 2 people out of a board of what, 6, 5, and only 2 want to go out and that care about me and what I'm concerned about. And what,
well,
you can come right to my house and I'll talk with you. I'll walk with you. I'll show you the pond. I'll show you where the turtles are. I'll show you all this stuff.
So again, Katie, my recommendation, and it might not please the owner, but just to protect the board, given what was just stated, is that, and the commission can utilize their own, if they want, to have our Equitech go out, do a peer review of the wetland delineation, and then review the cold water fishery documentation that was submitted by email from the Division of Fish and Wildlife about 10, 15 years ago, just to make a determination that we were correct in our assessment of where their review ended.
Okay. Steve, we'd be happy to look at the cold water fisheries information. That's something that we have?
It's an email, right?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I would be more than happy to review that.
Steve, if you go back in the 480, what is it?
Jeremy, I'd like to
finish. I'm finished. I'm trying to help you. Under the file for 486.
What would help me if you can just
Street.
hold on to your comment until I can finish talking with the board.
It's already in the file.
Board, what are your feelings about a review of the wetland flags?
First of all, Steve, can you mute this gentleman so I can speak without getting interrupted for a moment? Thank you.
Done.
All these other points aside, I understand this gentleman doesn't want this kind of retail facility across the street from his property, but I do resent that he is claiming that this commission purposely silenced him at any meetings. And I want to make sure that that's in the public record, that is not the case. And whether or not he had technical difficulties and he wasn't able to speak at the last meeting, I've heard him speak for the last 3 months on this project. So he's had ample opportunities. That's all. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Board, what are our opinions on having the wetlands peer reviewed by Ecotech, the wetland flagging?
Mark Munjum speaking. Although I feel that the wetland flagging was done in 2009, it's been reviewed again. It's a very distinct wetland, in my opinion. I think for the safety of our decision, I think it would be smart of us to go forward with a peer review at this point.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the idea of the site review.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as well.
Okay, Eric.
I'm fine with it as well. Yes.
May I bring up a point that it's really not fair because it's been so far along, and that because there's a disagreement right now that this should have been brought up previously. This should have been brought up. He's been going on and on about this for months now. If that was the concern, we should have done this months ago. Not get to the end to where we are, where we actually have a peer review that's in agreement with us with the merit of this, of the stormwater and the position of the building. That has already been put through by Leonard. Leonard has agreed with everything. I think that if we were going to bring something, we should have done this months ago, not hold me up again, because his real true value here is his property value, and that is not part of this board. And if you were going to step forward and do this, it should have been done before. This is not fair to me to be going 3-4 months down, and now all of a sudden we're going to do this because he's stamping his feet about his property value. This should have been done before. And my main concern is you have in front of you, from Leonard himself, he's in complete agreement with the stormwater and the position of the building, which covers everything in your jurisdiction. And as I said, I'm the one taking the risk.
Yeah, then the peer review. The peer review is not for the stormwater.
No, this is
no, for the wetlands. It's a clear-cut wetland line out there. It's a bank.
Karen, yes, thank you. I do understand.
And I understand your frustration as well. And I'm just, as I said, concerned about the future of our decision. And I don't want you to have to go down a road further after our decision if we don't do this.
Thanks, Mike. Okay.
Now, is there any way we can close the public hearing and do an approval with condition?
So the first thing I would like to do is entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing.
Well, well, they can't do the peer review if you close the public hearing.
I was going to do that after we close the public hearing. Do I have to do the public? Do I have to ask for a motion for the peer review before I can ask for the motion to close the public? Okay, sorry. Thank you, Steve. Okay, I will entertain. Yes.
You're looking to close or continue the public hearing?
Can I ask who's going to pay for the peer review?
Well, the commission can pay for it if they feel out of the Wetlands Protection Fund, since they seem to be going above and beyond, or they can ask for the applicant to pay for it.
I've already paid for 4 rounds with Bernard. I have already paid. I've waited. I've gotten answers. We've had rounds. This should have come up months ago. Months ago. We're already at where Leonard is happy.
Yep.
I understand about the water. I get that. But we've already established this is not a cold water fishery. We've already established it's an intermittent stream. We've already established that there's a clear cut. We've already covered all of this. As I said, it's a dead horse.
Understood. Thank you.
Is the concern about DEP changing the line if there were to be something that came after your decision? Is that, what exactly is the concern?
The concern would be that under appeal that, only 2 members out of 7 reviewed it, and then it would be more of an administrative appeal issue with that that a peer review didn't look at it. That's all. So it's really just protect the commission and the applicant, that a independent third party that looked at it just to verify that it's accurate.
Did you
okay, then condition the order with an acceptable peer review.
Okay, but hold on. All right, Karen, you were going to say something.
Can we condition this? That's what I've been trying to say. Can we condition this peer review, please?
Potentially.
Please.
It's not going to change. It's not going to change.
It has to change, because the last time in 2009, it was a dirt paving. Dirt was all dirt. No paving whatsoever. No asphalt. And no catch basin.
Jeremy, we don't know that.
The wetlands.
You've already told me that you're going to go from dirt to asphalt.
Hey, aren't we having our discussion?
Our discussion.
So, or if the commission's thinks it's they could just leave it if they think it's acceptable, and just leave it that they're with the line.
Okay. I will entertain a motion for the peer review with the understanding, Karen's comment, that the applicant is not interested in paying for this peer review, and that would likely have to come out of our funds.
I object.
Save it. Jeremy, what do you object to?
I think it would be in the town's best interest to at least get a second peer review.
That's what we're attempting to vote on. We're attempting to vote
you're
on
going to make it as a condition, but they could still keep moving along. I don't want them to move along.
That's not what I'm doing,
I want to see
Jeremy.
the peer review. And nobody wants to see my pictures of spotted turtles and salamanders. And
Jeremy, I want to see your pictures, and I'm trying to push a motion to get your peer review.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion.
See, nobody wants to do a peer review.
Nobody wants to do a peer review.
I make a motion that we do a peer review.
Okay. Do I have anyone seconding it?
I'll second that. Mike, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mike.
This is a peer review for wetlands delineation only, right?
Yes, Art.
That is correct.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, could I ask
Jeremy,
one question?
do not interrupt me. I am trying to take a vote.
I asked you, Madam Chair, for can I make a question? If not, I can't.
No, not right now. Okay. I will take a vote. Art.
A roll call vote. Aye.
Mike Greco.
Munjum, aye.
Sorry, what was it, Mike?
Mike Greco, aye.
And Eric?
Eric Harris, aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. Jeremy, you had a question.
What just passed? What just passed? I'm sorry I was interrupted.
Jeez, what's wrong?
We are having a peer review of the wetland flag delineation.
Is it conditioned to closing the hearing and moving forward?
It is something that I had to do before closing the hearing and moving forward. Yes. It is not part of the order of conditions.
I don't understand.
I know. Jeremy, what was your comment?
Yes, can the board do a review of CMR 15.214 and 15.215 based on the land being a nitrogen sensitive area?
Yes, we already discussed that, Jeremy.
Right, yeah. I would hope that if the board's paying for this, that little review would be included in the review.
It would not.
I would
the
hope
review is of the wetland delineation only. As for the nitrogen sensitive areas, that is a separate issue that is covered under the Board of Health.
Okay, then I'll go to them on that one. Now,
okay.
the interceptor has a turbidity requirement based on the nitrogen, and and that has to do with, I think, the conservation. I think that you guys would want to at least, and gals would want to at least look into that.
We did look into that. That was part of our stormwater management plan that was reviewed and peer reviewed, and we have the questions and answers for that.
I make a motion we continue this public hearing.
Can we please close the public hearing and on the that after, you know, we close the public hearing with the condition of the peer review.
Thank you, Karen. All right. Do we have any more
questions? Close the hearing, something might change.
Jeremy.
Do you have any more comments or questions, Jeremy?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
If you close, all I'm saying is if you close the hearing, then you're done with it.
Yep.
And you're never going to have another say at it.
Right? Yep.
Thank you.
So that is why it is up to the board. I will entertain either the motion to continue or the motion to close.
I move to continue. I know the applicant won't be happy with that, but I want to review. I want the results of the peer review first.
Okay. I have a motion to continue.
Second.
Seconded by Mark Munjim. Let's do a roll call vote.
Art Montminy, aye.
Mark Munjim, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Thank you. Motion's been made and passed.
Continue to when?
We can try to get it on for the 10th. If you want to try and get it on for the 10th, I'll see if I can get out there and have this done by the 10th.
Yes.
I think it needs to be done.
I think it needs to be on for the 10th. Okay, I think the last hearing that we had, we wanted to close at this time. We sufficed everything that you wanted, and then he comes on and you get your peer review, but you didn't do it to condition. I think that we should, the next hearing.
Okay. It'll be on August 10th at 7 p.m.
Okay, we're going to try for that, okay? But that I understand you're anxious to get your project going, but if it's not ready, if we're not ready, we're not ready. And that's, you're not going to make us vote on things we're not ready to vote on.
I clearly understand that, but I think that we should have done this a long time ago. We should have done it 3 or 4 months ago.
I understand your position. I understand it.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, certainly. The next item on our agenda. Oh, that's the rest of the agenda. We have a couple other discussion items after this, and we can let Tracy can come back. Tracy probably went to bed.
Probably, yeah. Maybe she doesn't want to come back after that.
Okay.
So I can go over through them real quick. I mean, the number 3, I just went out and took some videos yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't know this was on the agenda. I thought we're just dealing with the planning board items, but the site is in very good conditions, and I can have the pictures for the next meeting if you want.
That's fine. I didn't know what all was going to be on this agenda either, so that's okay if we want to do it next time. Tracy, welcome back.
Hi.
Did you get to listen to all that?
Yes, some of it.
Okay.
Same thing with number 4. They didn't do an as-built. They did an as-built, but they didn't layer it on top of the existing proposed plan. I talked to the owner and sent an email to redo the plan, so they're not ready for the commission to vote on that. Number 4.
Okay, thank you.
And then number 5, the commission voted on, I believe they voted on last meeting, 289 Wallum Lake Road. I think that was the subdivision. I don't know why that's back on there again.
I thought that we did that, yeah.
Yeah, you did. So I'll talk to Maria why that's on there.
All right, thank you. And then item 6 is we're looking at minutes. So I want to specifically talk to the minutes of 4/27.
Yeah.
So I took an action at the last meeting to go look at the YouTube video of the 4/27 meeting to see if I could discern what was going on in some of the points during the echo. And I didn't make it through the whole meeting. I made it through the first hour and a half. And I have to say that I want everyone to understand I have a new respect for what Maria does for us, because that was absolutely painful. I had to regularly take breaks to rest my ears. It was painful to listen to. I know you can't see this, but this is just covered in pen marks of all the things I attempted to write that were going on, because there was a point at like the hour 47 point in which the echo was so bad, you could not tell which discussion was the real one and which one was the echo. Like you had to remember, like, did I hear this before? Okay, that's the echo. I need to screen that out from my ears so I can hear the new content. Like it's horribly confusing. Although I think the minutes are good enough the minutes in most places are good enough to show that, yes, we approved the thing. Or like, for example, there was an option 1 and an option 2 for a dewatering system. The minutes show clearly that we picked option 1. It's enough for them to move forward with it. There was enough there. So I have mostly editorial comments, but that being said, I'm not done. And I guess I'd like more time to finish.
I was the one who brought up not being comfortable with April 27th.
Yeah.
And, the thing with April 27th, I went back and looked some more myself. And that was the part that I wasn't comfortable with was the Huff Road project, which as far as I know, is done and completed, and I think everybody was satisfied with the way the pump was going to evacuate water from the basement of this building, and we ended up coming up with a dry well situation. And the sump pump originally was just going to put the flow on the ground, and it was going to go into the neighbor's property. So I don't know that it's the end of the world, is what I'm saying. I think it's probably a moot point at this point. I just wanted to have something that, for the record, that the public could look at down the road and see what happened. And you know what? This is probably going to happen again. With the technology is not perfect, and because of the COVID situation, we got to do things remotely, and these are the kind of things that happen sometimes. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly hope it's never that bad again. I would challenge you, just listen to the 10 minutes between 1:43 and 1:50. Just listen to that section of the meeting. Sure. I just want you all to experience that. So I didn't even get to that part about Huff Road. That's actually where I ended. So the only
just holding on those.
I have one comment.
Yeah.
It was actual technical, and that was there was a driveway. There was an driveway end that we wanted to fill with crushed stone, and it was recorded as being 2 feet wide, and what we had said was 2 to 3 feet wide.
That was West Street.
Yeah. That was the only technical change.
So bottom line is, I don't know that the minutes for April 27th are going to get any better for us to review.
Well, I could make them better. Like I said, I mean, I could put all of these comments in.
But the distorted portion of the audio is going to still be distorted. You know, what we couldn't hear before, we're not going to be here, here in the future. There's no way to scrub this this copy and clean it up so we can all hear every word. It's just not going to happen. So
correct.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. That's all I'm saying. But that's why I brought up April 27th, as I was a little bit uncomfortable with it at the last meeting because of just because of the technical glitch.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else, Katie Grace, I appreciate you going back and taking a look. I don't know if anybody else did, but either we gotta put this to bed or continue it for down the road.
So, Board, what's your pleasure for the April 27th?
I'd like to see Katie Grace's comments applied to the to a finished version of the minutes.
Okay. Then I can finish making comments, and I can verbally state that I have them at the next meeting, and then I could even scan them in and send them.
Why don't you send them to Maria and myself, and she'll send them to Mary and redo them.
I will. Like I said, I just have 1 page left, and I'll send them to Maria and you. I can copy the board.
And the other ones, I don't know about anybody else, but I never got those 615 ones.
I haven't received any, I don't think.
Really?
I'll ask again. I sent an email to Maria in about also 6-1 with your changes, Art, that you had last meeting.
Yeah, I didn't get anything amended either. That was the one that Steve, you and I had gone out and done a site walk on, and I understand maybe the ladies didn't realize it when they're doing this, this Reader's Digest condensed version, but because of the sheer number of trees coming down, I wanted it in the public record that I knew the answer before I asked the question, but I wanted it in the public record, and it didn't make it in there.
Yeah, I sent that to them last week. I'll resend my notes that had that in there, specifically that you wanted that change.
But that was the only issue I had on the June 1st ones.
Steve, can Maria send the minutes separate from all the other stuff? Because
Sure.
if
She should. I think what I'm going to start doing, I'll do a Google Drive and just have her put all the minutes into the Google Drive so anyone can just look at them at anytime.
Yeah, that would be preferred.
Because I lose them too. So you get so many emails. Sometimes you might not see them, or I don't know if she sends them to everybody.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing the last few.
I forwarded you when I received them, Mark, because Katie
thank
Grace
you.
didn't have them either. I don't know if it was sent to everybody like blind CC, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, I think they've gotten a little bit behind because of, you know, the situation going on. And so we got 6-1 to work on. 6-15 we didn't get.
You don't have that.
And 7-13 and now 7-20. I just don't want to fall too far behind.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So I'll start with 6-1 and I'll start a Google Drive and then start adding all the ones this point forward.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And
it.
so Steve, when do you think you're going to have all the decisions drafted? Well, number one, the signature page for all the board members to sign. And then all of the things that we've already voted on, we're getting behind on that too, right?
Well, let's see if I have,
You have a list going?
yeah, hang on. Maybe I'll just send this to make sure I did it correctly for Maria. I asked her for the copies of the templates so I could start working on all the special conditions.
I mean, yeah. Number one, we need to get that signature page, which should have been done last week when we voted on it, because people are, well, I guess those people, we signed it in person, but they're still waiting on it.
Well, everyone's going to have to sign it if they show up on Saturday.
Yeah, is it going to be prepared by Saturday?
Well, hopefully I'll have to do
it. Approved by the town council?
Okay.
It's a certificate of vote. And it says right in that KP law authorization, certificate of voting authorization, and it's a template. And it just needs to be transferred to a document.
This shouldn't be that complicated.
No. Yeah, but you have to sign it. Every member has to physically sign it.
I don't see that.
That's what Jay said.
It says
in his email.
Roll call vote, and it says.
You want to bring it up?
Yeah, if you want to, you have it, or I'll just forward it to you.
Yeah, forward it to me. No, I asked Jay. That was a question you had after the last meeting. Is it when you have this document that you voted on last meeting, and it has all the commissions listed that voted on it? Can the commission just sign it electronically and then give it to the town council to record it at the registry of deeds? Or does the commission have to put their name, everyone's name, and then every commission individually has to sign it with a wet pen?
Yeah, original signature.
Right, and then Jay says you have to do it. You have to have an original signature.
And then this document with the recorded book and page needs to be referenced on all of the electronically signed permits that we issue.
With your signatures. Like, do you have to sign the one you just, let me bring this up.
No, we have to also reference the permit.
I'm losing you. What do you mean?
So there's a separate line from the Registry of Deeds stating that they need to, there's a clause saying that a statement that the signatures are made in accordance with Mass General Law and pursuant to the board's electronic signature authorization vote recorded on date, book and page, right, in the name of the registry.
Right.
So that needs to be, if we continue with, if you can get all the permits that we've already granted by Saturday, then we can just all sign them in person. But if we want to move forward and utilize this option, then we will need to follow the rules for the recording rules.
Which is? you have to sign, instead of signing all the permits, you're going to just sign this one document and then sign all the permits electronically.
Plus adding the statement that I just read out loud with the book and page reference of the actual authorization vote.
Which you did last Monday.
I just forwarded you the directions, the e-update for electronic signatures.
Tracy, are you just looking for more words to be on this Word document?
I'm looking for us to be able to do this correctly. So
no,
that
I agree.
No, that's not enough.
Okay.
That's not enough. Let me just forward this to the whole board. I mean, we can take a look at it, but this has been.
I know.
There's statutory requirements that we have to meet in order for the people to record their permits at the registry.
So let me bring this up.
Okay, can you do that? Thanks.
Can you see this? So this is a certificate for vote authorizing signatures pursuant. This one right here, the one I have up on the board.
Correct. So
right.
If you
you voted on last Monday to approve this.
Correct.
And we have to fill this in.
Correct.
And then all the members, the roll call vote, I'm going to put everyone that voted on it.
Yes.
And then the voting in the title, but
it doesn't have anybody's signatures because electronically you can make your own signature. They're not verifying the signature. They're verifying that this has been done, that it's voted correctly, and that it's been recorded at the Registry of Deeds. So when the person brings in their order of conditions to record, it'll have the statement on the bottom stating that the board members voted for this on that day.
So what was the town council saying you needed?
I have no idea, but let's just say my signature is not going to look like my e-signature if I'm using my hand or something, or if I use a template signature.
Right.
Right. So I thought that in order to record this, that they needed at least one wet signature to start to record this at the registry. And that point forward, you just do electronically.
Yeah. Well, somebody name/title is attesting to the fact that the commission has executed this vote.
Well, that would be Maria. She's the keeper of the records
but somebody needs to say, no, it looks like the chair or vice chair member of the board needs to sign on the name, title, and the date, and then Maria would notarize it. Said on this day, the chair, vice chair signed this piece of paper. So only one person needs to sign it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
I mean.
And so what was that other piece of that other
I have no idea what that was. Somebody prepared that. I have no idea where that came from. I can copy and paste this. I can make this into a Word document for you if you need it to be. I can convert it in Adobe.
Yeah, I don't have Adobe. I don't have. If you can do it through Adobe, if not, I'll just retype the whole thing and have it.
You have the fancy Adobe.
Huh?
You have the fancy Adobe.
If you have Adobe Pro, then yes, please. If not, then I'll just type it up.
There's plenty of programs that'll convert PDFs into Word anyway, so it's not a big deal.
What's the fancy one though?
And so we'll type this up. We'll do the dates that you guys voted on, and then someone you'll sign it, Tracy, and we'll send it to legal counsel to record it.
Right. So there's a fee to record it. I believe it's.
Yeah, it can't be much. The commission can
105, right?
Right.
Or
you have a budget.
85.
Right.
So he could possibly, if they have e-recording, or we can mail it into the registry and it would be recorded within a couple days with an $85 check.
Right. I mean, he works for the town. I mean, it's probably easier if he just does it, so he knows.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for that.
You know, I hate to start mailing things in and you never know who's going to get it.
Right. Well,
just
yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, he can e-record if you're an authorized e-recorder. So I would just, once this is typed up, I would send it to him for his approval, and then I would sign it, and then we would mail it to him or hand deliver it if he's in the building. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, anything else, board?
I just wanted to double check about the site walk. What is the time and location for that?
It's U Street at 1 o'clock.
264 U Street.
It's
okay.
It's between right before Peare Street.
I'm gonna try to go before 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
And I may be away, so don't wait for me, but I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, I have a possible conflict, but I'm right now I'm hoping to make it.
Okay. All right, board, anything else? No.
I move to adjourn.
Well, wait, yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. You might want to, we can put this off, it's no big deal, but one of the documents you put up there has me listed as vice chair.
Yeah, you're vice chair.
How can I get out of that?
Once I receive my reappointment, hopefully we'll do a reorganization, and then you can nominate a person of your
That's fine.
liking. I would open up for nominations for chair and for vice chair.
Okay, which will be a meeting coming up soon.
I'm not sure it's on the Board of Selectmen's schedule to be done. I don't know if I'm actually going to be appointed. We have to wait for that. So I just still remain until they take a vote.
Okay.
I don't think that's high on their priority of list of things to do.
Right. So since I have expressed that I want to stay on the board, then they said that I can remain in the position. Oh, that's the other thing, that the website needs to be updated.
Right.
Steve.
Yeah.
Are you guys still looking for associate members for planning?
Yeah, we have 2 available spots, don't we? Yeah, we have 2 available spots. We have conservation spots, though. Permanent member.
Oh, well, I'm aware.
Okay. All right. Anything else, board? No. Art made a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Mark. Roll call vote, please.
Art Montmany, aye.
A.G. Dudley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.